Planet Dolan.
From humiliating parades to drowning in a pool of syrup, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the weirdest punishments we received. I'm Melissa, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by Thomas Reddit. One time when Dolan was 13, he received a bad report card from school, so he tried to hide it from his parents. When Dolan's parents noticed that they hadn't received one in the mail, they went to the school to ask the teacher for a copy. After realizing what Dolan had done, his dad took the report card home and photocopied it 100 times. When he got home, he handed all 100 of them to Dolan and marched him out of the house and watched as he was forced to knock on every door in the area, giving a copy of his report card to every kid in the neighborhood. Number 9 was submitted by OttersGirl2215. When Doopy turned 14, she received a whopping $1,600 for her birthday from all of her relatives. Her mom asked Doopy if she had thanked each of her relatives, and Doopy replied, "Why would I do that? They give me money every year." Her mom was shocked at her lack of gratitude and decided to teach her a lesson. She drove Doopy to a local pet shelter and made her pick out 3 dogs that cost exactly $1,600. After buying the dogs, she drove Doopy to each relative's house and surprised them with a new pet. They all told her how thoughtful she was to spend all of her money on them. Number 8 was submitted by Wyvern1. When Zaragamba and Dolan were young, they used to fight like cats and dogs. During one particularly crazy argument, their dad decided to sit them down and give them a good talking to. Zaragamba was still angry, so instead of sitting down, he threw a chair at the wall, smashing it to pieces. His dad made him immediately repair the chair, and then gave him a strange lesson. He made Zaragamba sit down and stand up in the chair 200 times, so that he would never mistreat the furniture ever again. And weirdly enough, it worked. Number 7 was submitted by Puzzle-Headed Fold. When Hellbent was 12, he really wanted to buy a hedgehog from the pet store. So he sneakily took $175 from his mom's purse one night. When he came back home the next day with a hedgehog, he lied and told his mom that his teacher gave it to him. She already knew that the money was missing from her purse and knew that he was lying. The next thing he knew, the hedgehog was returned to the pet store, and his punishment was that he had to wear a big sign around his neck that said, "I stole from my mom's purse and lied about it." He never stole from anyone after that. Number 6 was submitted by Neem Slapped Ham got detention once because he hadn't done his homework that was assigned to him. But his mom knew that detention never really taught kids a lesson, so she took the punishment into her own hands. She gave his teacher a jigsaw puzzle and told Slapped Ham that if he didn't finish the puzzle by the end of detention, there would be serious consequences. Little did he know, she had taken pieces out and mixed other puzzles in with it. The teacher watched Slapped Ham frantically trying to finish the impossible puzzle before the bell. When he eventually failed, the teacher burst out laughing. Number 5 was submitted by ShadowWow123. When Tolop was 6 years old, he was bouncing around in the kitchen, climbing on the benches, doing usual kid things. He climbed a little too far and ended up smashing the kettle on the ground. His parents were furious at him and came up with a strange way to punish him for being so careless. For his punishment, they made him fill a jug of water and walk around the house, offering it to anyone who might be thirsty. He had to stand for 3 hours as some sort of 6-year-old butler, offering drinks to his family members. Number 4 was submitted by Ya Boy Young Man. When Sid was in high school, his mom got mad at him one day over something ridiculous he had done 6 months ago. She stood in the middle of the room, berating him for what felt like hours, when suddenly, she picked up some shoes and said, "You know what? I'm throwing out your Jordans because I'm so angry!" Sid looked at them. They weren't even Nike shoes. They were filthy old thrift store shoes. And he just said,
Okay.
His mom threw them in the trash and stormed out. He's still confused to this day about that punishment. Number 3 was submitted by Jamie Hosier. When Gergak was younger, he was sitting in a car with his mom and sister, having an interesting conversation about movies. When the movie Twilight came up, he laughed and yelled, "Twilight sucks!" His mom asked him if he had ever watched it or read the books. He told her he hadn't. He just read online that it was bad. So his mom swerved the car around, and the next corner took him straight to the cinema to see the next screening of Twilight. She told him he isn't allowed to complain about something unless he'd actually seen it. For the record, he saw the whole movie and decided that Twilight does indeed suck. Number 2 was submitted by Flamer679. Pandora's parents were particularly cruel with their punishments when she was young. One time, she was in a huge amount of trouble, so her parents devised an unusual way to teach her a lesson. They filled the home swimming pool with a mixture of maple syrup and concrete, and then threw her into the middle of the pool. It was like being stuck in thick mud, and luckily she could stand in it. 2 long and grueling hours later, she managed to climb out. Her parents thought it was so funny that they threw her straight back in. Pandora was well behaved for a long time after that. Number 1, the weirdest punishment I've received. I'd like to think I was a pretty good kid for the most part, but every now and then, I'd do something that upset my parents. One time, my dad thought I was being rude to him, so he told me to stand in the corner, but not just any corner, the one right by the front door. I didn't really understand what this was doing, but I guess it was his way of a timeout. He'd make me stand in the corner and then go to the TV room and watch TV. So I used to go upstairs, grab my Game Boy, and play it while I was standing there. And as I heard his footsteps coming towards me, I'd hide it behind my back. I'm pretty sure that to this day, he has no idea that I did that. Hopefully he's not watching this video. Huge thanks for all the folks over on our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What was the stupidest response to a teacher's question that you've ever heard? Let us know in the Reddit page linked below, and you might be featured in a future countdown.
Check out the latest Dolan card update, Nixiumville. A new character, heaps of new skins, a new power-up, new level, daily missions, and offline mode. Download from the Android or iOS App Store and start racing today for free.
Thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time.